Hello and welcome to another episode of Metal Detecting with Lugnut. This episode is another project video, and I think that a lot of you detectorists out there should be able to identify with this particular project, as this project is metal detecting oriented. Have any of you ever had the sheath for your lesh or little digging tool wear out? If so, watch this. I think you'll enjoy it. Well, this project, we're going to recondition the sheath for my Garrett digging tool. I'm sure a lot of people have seen similar wear on a Garrett sheath. Not to knock the sheath, that one's 6 years old, so it's been out in the field a lot. It's been through a lot. I don't blame it. I have been through a number of these handles, and now it's got actually the end of one of my son's spent bicycle handles tips, because it seems to hold up better than the ends of these handle grips. But what we're worried about here is redoing this. So let's show you what we have in store for that. Here's what we're going to use. Now I'm not going to replace the cover as much as I'm just going to cover the sheath. I'm going to put this on the outside so you can see it, because the black's cool. The brown will be backing material on the inside. I'm going to use this parachute cord, not because it's the best thing in the world, but it's that I got a bunch of it and it was free. I found it at a campsite. Marking tool, and I got some little bling here. I may or may not be able to incorporate those. I'll do my best. So I'm just going to trace some sheath shapes, cut some holes, and lace it all together, and hopefully that'll do the trick. Alright, so I put the sheath on the leather, gave myself some room here for the holes, traced it and cut it out. I traced it with this, cut it out with these awesome medical scissors, which will cut through darn near anything. Then I copied it on the backing material, cut that out also with these scissors, and I'll trim it down a little later, but so now I'll poke, I lay them together, poke identical holes all around, and then I'm going to have to poke holes somewhere across the top when I fold it under, and I'll poke holes here so it doesn't just fall off, so it'll actually be attached across the top. And as I stitch around that, if I can, that's where I'll put these guys. So we'll see how that works. So as I'm standing here cogitating this, because it's something I do, thinking what I may do is punch the holes and stitch it inside out, and then turn it right side out to tighten it up, and maybe the stitching will look better. We'll see what happens if I do that. I used a ruler to measure the holes and mark them with this at 1/2 inch apart. I started stomping them or holing them with this, a diameter that should be small or big enough to run the parachute cord. It was too hard to do both leathers at once, so I'm going to do all of these, then I'm going to lay this on top of the other one and dot through it with this to the other layer, and then hit it again with this to make the other set. Okay, the holes are done on the black piece. Now I can just lay this one on top, put a dot in each hole through there, and then make the holes in the brown backing sheet. Got all the holes punched here and here. Even put 4 across there, which will leave 3 spaces for the 3 skulls, if I can get it to loop through there right. And then I'll put some holes up here and cut a flap, trim that down, and again, this is going to be laced inside out and then turned right side out for application. I did heat the tip of the parachute cord up with a match. Just roll it on the wood with the blade here so as not to get burnt plastic on my fingers. But to get this to a nice flat tip that would go through the holes more easily, or kind of a pointy tip. That's coming along pretty well. I'm just hoping that when I turn it inside out that it doesn't change the inside measurements to the point where the old sheath won't fit inside of it, but I can always just unlace it, make it right side out, relace it, and just leave it the way it is. We'll see what happens. Well, here it is, all stitched up and turned inside out. Let's go see if it fits, if the sheath fits inside of it. Well, look at that. It's like it was made for it. Fits beautifully. Now I just got to finish off this top piece, tighten and finish up the ends, and see if I can get those skulls to go between the threads as I go across the top. Okay, I'm going to make a flap out of this and tuck it inside. So I'm going to poke these holes, which match up with the holes here to keep the whole thing from falling off. And then I'll get 4 more holes. The lace from the beginning, I actually tucked back in here and tied it off and melted the end. And this side is what I'm going to use to go across the middle. And then I may actually tie it off over here to the other side. So let's see how that goes. Well, here it is. I took the extra piece, laced it through. There's a flap. Put a skull beat on each pass until the last one. Took it all the way around the back, pushed it through the weaving on the side, cut it, melted it. That looks pretty cool. That's a good project.